Welcome back. You are listening to the Mario Mukwanda show on Salam Media. And today we are talking about what does it take to become a whistleblower in South Africa, and if whistleblowers are protected enough, or are they properly protected? Whistleblowers are generally good, brave, and courageous citizens, but in South Africa, they are often treated as snitches. And you know what they say, snitches get stitches. They are often looked at as snitches and troublemakers. Some of those have been lifted the lid on corruption, have been fired and subjected to harassment, intimidation, and victimization. Are whistleblowers really safe? Are they really protected? Let's find out. Joining me is the head of legal and investigation with Corruption Watch, Mr. Karam Singh. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, and thank you for having me on your show.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for joining me and taking the time. All right. So, first of all, what does it take to become a whistleblower in South Africa?
Well, I think whistleblowers come in different shapes and sizes, but effectively, a whistleblower is someone who makes a disclosure around wrongdoing. The protection that we have is called the Protected Disclosures Act, and it provides a framework for protection of whistleblowers within a workplace context. So if you're in a workplace and you observe illegality, wrongdoing, corruption, there's the law provides a mechanism by which you can blow the whistle, make a disclosure, and the law is meant to protect you from being subjected to victimization or retaliation in response to making that disclosure. But as you noted in your introduction, what often happens is that people then become victimized. They're not protected, and we don't really have a culture at the moment within the country which supports the type of disclosures that we would need in order to effectively combat corruption.
All right. Now, how does it work? How do whistleblowers work?
Well, basically, companies are meant to have some type of a policy or mechanism in place. So there's meant to be a policy which guides the basis upon which you can make a protected disclosure. But in the context in which your company doesn't have that, there are other places where you can go to report wrongdoing.
The sound went off. I cannot. All right.
Sorry, I'm connecting with you on my phone, and somebody was trying to phone me. But you can make a protected disclosure to various entities which are designated in the Act. For instance, like going to the public protector or going to law
Yeah.
enforcement.
All right. So, how are whistleblowers protected by this act, without a feeling victimized or being victimized, and a feeling like they are the snitch of the company? Because eventually, nobody wants to be with the snitch. You might just snitch on what they do.
Yeah, no, it's not easy. It's. I think we need to, as a society, we need to move beyond this notion of a snitch. I
Yeah.
understand the concept within the struggle against apartheid, what it meant to give information to the police. But we want to live in a society now which is respects the rule of law, respects the
Yeah.
Constitution. So if you're working within a company and you observe illegalities going on or corruption, then the law makes an obligation upon you to disclose that. And in theory, the law is meant to say that you're protected when you make that disclosure from being victimized. But unfortunately, what happens is that people do get victimized and they do get sidelined. And in some cases, their physical security even gets threatened. So, Corruption Watch has been receiving reports of corruption from members of the public, for almost the last 10 years. And we've received tens of thousands of reports. And we do experience that, where whistleblowers report to us the challenges that they face. And a lot of, Mandy Wiener's recently written a book where she talks about the experiences of whistleblowers. Sometimes they're forced into exile and asylum. Sometimes they're forced to go underground, and their personal safety and the safety of their family is threatened, which is quite a significant thing.
Hmm. So, if a person blows the whistle anonymously, are they also still protected by the act?
Well, yeah, I mean, you would be protected. I mean, when you blow the whistle in an anonymous way, it becomes much more difficult to get to the bottom of your identity and who you are. In some cases, it also makes it more difficult for the people that are investigating the allegations to
Mm-hmm.
also get to the bottom of the issue if they don't have access to you. But
Yeah.
we do ultimately want to create a system where if people feel like they need to maintain their anonymity to make disclosures, then we need to respect that, because at the moment there's danger that comes along with your identity being revealed when you make this kind of a disclosure.
Mm-hmm. What should one know before blowing the whistle on corruption?
Well, I mean, I think you need to know the context in which you're blowing the whistle. So, are you blowing it in a workplace context? Are you is there something going on at your workplace that you want to expose? If you do that, then there are legal protections that you have in terms of the Protected Disclosures Act, and you need to determine whether there is a process within your company to be able to make that disclosure. If there
Mm-hmm.
isn't, then you need to look outside of your organization to see
Yeah.
who can effectively receive your complaint, whether it be somebody like the public protector, the Public Service Commission, or if it's criminality, then actually laying a criminal complaint with the police.
How can Corruption Watch or organizations like Corruption Watch tell if this is a real issue that is going on, or perhaps the person who's trying to blow the whistle is just being malicious?
It's difficult. It's difficult. I mean, when cases get reported to us, we do everything we can within our powers, which are limited, to do an investigation to try to verify the allegations. Oftentimes whistleblowers do not have access to documents, do not have access to evidence. But if you are going to make an allegation against someone, if you do have evidence, it obviously makes it much easier for those who are going to take forward that allegation to then take the matter forward and investigate it. So the availability of evidence is absolutely critical. And in some cases, if a whistleblower can't provide that, they can't provide any additional support to their allegations, then it's
Mm-hmm.
very difficult to take forward those allegations. But in order to have the protections of the law, you need to be able to show that the disclosures you're making are in good faith, and that you've made a reasonable attempt to verify those allegations. But the point that you raise is a fair one. That in some cases, people do make allegations which are not always in good faith.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Okay, so how can people contact Corruption Watch should they try or would like to blow the whistle on corruption?
The people can go to our website, which is www.corruptionwatch.org.za. We also have a Facebook page, so you can find us on Facebook. If you go onto our website and Facebook page, you can find our additional details. You can find our email addresses, our telephone number. And through any of those platforms, people can report corruption to us.
All right, so thank you so much for your time, Mr. Singh, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Right, that was Mr. Karam Singh, the head of legal and investigation with the Corruption Watch. If you would like to know more about Corruption Watch, or if you would like to blow the whistle on corruption in the company, you can visit their website. That's www.corruptionwatch.org.za, and you'll find contact numbers, emails, social media pages, etc., and how to go about blowing the whistle of corruption, guys. Corruption is a major issue that we are facing. In fact, it's an epidemic on its own. So if we are not going to be blowing the whistle, how are we going to be dealing with the corruption? We have to start somewhere. I know nobody wants to be labeled as a snitch, etc., but look, this is something that is going to help the company become a better company. And if you do your bit by speaking out against the corruption, but obviously make sure that there is evidence to back up your claims. Don't just make claims or allegations of something that you aren't sure of, or because you're trying to get back at your boss or supervisor or whomever it is. So if you are going to be blowing the whistle, make sure that you have all the correct information, you have logs, you have paperwork, whatever it is. And I think whistleblowers do get paid also. I mean, do get an incentive. Let me not say they get paid. Let me incentive. Yeah. So if you would like to know more, visit corruptionwatch.org.za and see if you are eligible to. No, no, guys, it's not a job position. Don't see if you're eligible, but see if how you can go about blowing the whistle on corruption. You are listening to the Mari Mukunda Show on Sila Media. If you have any comments, questions, queries, or suggestions, please leave them in the comments section or send them to us on WhatsApp. The number is 0617660355. Just stay with us. We will be right back after the break.